So I get asked. I've been asked a few times. And I mentioned earlier, comments are noticed. Leon Draisaitl. I'm also going to take a shot at Bo Horvat while I'm in here. And Granlund and Nita Ryder. I said before the summer started, we've got all these RFAs, big names. When is somebody going to get an offer sheet? This is the perfect time for an offer sheet. Teams don't feel any pressure to sign a restricted free agent until mid-August. Let them stew. Let them wait. Leon Draisaitl reportedly won't take anything less than $9 million a year. That would put Draisaitl and McDavid together at roughly $20 million a year. It's a lot of money. That's Kane and Taves money. They haven't won anything yet. I defend Kane and Taves and what they make because they won 3 Stanley Cups. And when you've won that many championships and you've been a key role in those championship wins, you've earned your money. Draisaitl, McDavid, they are exciting. They are the future. They've made the playoffs once. They made the second round that one time. That's it. Draisaitl wants $9 million a year. I'm willing to say it's probably for the max amount of time, too. So this would be $72 million. Draisaitl had a great year. Leon had a fantastic year this season. And I have no doubt in my mind that he is a legitimate second-line center / first-line winger, depending on where he ends up. But if he ends up on McDavid's wing, that's disappointing. Because the Oilers have every intention of making him the number 2 center. So do you tie up $20 million in your top 2 centers? It's a lot of money. Cap going up or not. Cap stagnant or not. It's a lot of money. So, the funny thing is, while people say, oh, there won't be an offer sheet, the NHL needs one. The NHL needs one GM to step up and say, you know what? Hell with it. Leon Draisaitl helps my team right now. I'm taking Draisaitl. You look at the 2 depth charts I did today, Minnesota and Montreal. If Montreal did an offer sheet for Draisaitl and got him, and they had Draisaitl, Galchenyuk, and Drouin, I'm going back and changing my prediction right now. I'll put them second in that division. Maybe first. If you add Draisaitl to that lineup, only losing draft picks going the other way. Absolutely worth it. You've often seen guys come up who are RFAs, and it's is it worth the risk? And in Draisaitl's case, it is. Now, he could flop. He could, but I really don't think he will. He had the pedigree. He was a top draft pick. So he's been seen as being a premier player for a while. He's not a 5th or 6th rounder that suddenly had a really good career year and now he's trying to cash in. No, he's been on an upward trajectory from day one. The Oilers handled him very well in his development. And they're a team that was criticized for their development system for a long time. So let's give him credit right now for doing the right thing with Draisaitl and letting him come along at his own pace. But is Draisaitl a $9 million a year guy? Somebody will pay it. And of course, people are going to say, well, what about a sign-and trade? Are you kidding? Edmonton's not signing him for $9 million and then trying to trade him. If they sign him, they're keeping him. Because there is so little to choose between these teams. Like I said, you add Draisaitl to this team, they're second. You add Draisaitl to this team, they're in the playoffs. Buffalo, I don't care about their defense. You add Draisaitl with Eichel and O'Reilly, holy crap. Throw in Reinhart and Okposo, you got a party. And in Vancouver, Bo Horvat's sitting waiting for his contract. And there's no pressure on Benning whatsoever. There's no cap pressure. And the team was bad last year, likely isn't very good this year either. There's no pressure on Benning to sign Horvat. As fans, we want to see it. There's no pressure on him. Again, the pressure will start to build as we get closer to the season. Once opening a training camp is up and coming, GMs are going to want to see these guys in training camp. Minnesota back here, they're going to want Granlund and Niederreiter in training camp. They don't want to be screwing around with this coming out of training camp. Because then it's a distraction. Right now, it's just a mild curiosity we have as fans. But it becomes a distraction. And NHL teams don't like those. They really don't like those. So, yeah. Draisaitl, I do believe at the end of this is still going to be an Oiler. And the funny thing is, I even saw today a post, bridge deal. The Oilers should sign a 2-year bridge deal with Draisaitl. Are you kidding? The risk that creates? Draisaitl could sign a 2-year bridge deal. And then he signs what? A 3 or 4-year deal after that? What if his value goes up between now and 2 years from now? What if he somehow, let's say McDavid gets hurt and Draisaitl drags the team to the playoffs by himself? Offensively. Then he's worth more money. The $9 million a year, that figures in there because you're buying up, and I've said it before, you're buying up all unrestricted free agency years. It's a certain amount of time you have to spend in the NHL, after which you're eligible to be an unrestricted free agent. Teams right now are trying to buy up those seasons, so they don't have to worry about it. And players are saying, all right, well, I'll stay here, but you're paying me to stay here. It throws the Oilers out of whack if Draisaitl gets $9 million. It really does. Because then you look at Draisaitl, McDavid, and Lucic. That's a lot of money between 3 guys. So, anyways, that's my whole take on the Draisaitl situation. Draisaitl spent, most of his season with Maroon and Connor McDavid. He had 77 points. And Connor McDavid, it says here, Connor McDavid's the stir that straws the drink. It's from the Copper and Blue website. And Chiarelli's already said, we'll match any offer. Well, absolutely. Until it's done. Every GM says, we'll match any offer. Until that offer comes in and they go, oh, God, this is money. A lot of money. And then they got to think about it. So let me know what you think. I mean, yeah, the Oilers are going to match any offer sheet. What if it's $10 million a year? What if it's $10.5? What if Philly jumps in and they do what they did with Shea Weber and they create a contract that's so awful, 2 years from now the Oilers are trying desperately to offload it? Philly can make really awful contracts. Just look at Breezgolov's. Philly can make fantastically awful. And I know it's Ron Hextall that's the GM there now. I think he can just call Paul Holmgren and say, look, we need an awful contract. And Holmgren knows, yes, this is my forte. And then Philly crafts a horrible contract for Draisaitl that the Oilers say, really, he's worth that much money? Maybe make it so he makes $1 more a year than McDavid, just to make McDavid angry. Just so that the Oilers match, McDavid's ticked off. That kind of thing. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And honestly, all the best to the Oilers and Draisaitl. I hope it all gets resolved peacefully. And I hope it doesn't bugger up their cap. $20 million between 2 guys is a lot of money, and it would start next year. So if this happens, they may want to win the cup this year, because it may get more difficult from there. I'll talk to you guys again soon.